Right, so compound interest, that's what we're looking at there. Compound interest. Interest on a loan or deposit calculated based on both the initial amount and the accumulated interest from interest periods. So let's imagine over Christmas I got some money. Let's say I got £2,500. Okay? And I decide to put that in an account that pays quite a good interest rate, 4.5% compound interest. Okay? And I'm going to keep it in that account for 3 years. And at the end of 3 years, I'm going to take it out of the account and see how much money I've actually got in the account. So how can I work that out? So this is the slowest way of working out. I'm going to show you the formula in a second, but this is the slowest way of working out. So it's January 2024. And in the bank I've put £2,500 in this account, so I put £2,500. Over the year it gains 4.5%. Okay, so that's 4.5% of my 2,500. Alrighty, so we get our calculator. I'll use my phone for this. And we know how to work this out because we know how to work percentages out. 4.5 divided by 100 times 2,500. So I get £112.50p interest in the first year. Yeah, £112.50p interest. So that means in December this year, in my bank account now, I've got the 2,500 what I originally had, plus my interest. So I've actually got in the account now 2,612.50p. Okay? So that means that in January of 2025, this is the second year now, I'm going into the second year, I'm still getting 4.5% interest, but I'm getting 4.5% interest on this figure now, because that figure's gone. So it's the same sum, 4.5. Do it exactly the same way, then I don't make a mistake. 4.5 divided by 100 times by 2,612.50. So now for this year, or sorry, for the year after, for 2025, I'm getting £117.56 interest, which I then add to that. £2,730.06. Now, that's December 2025. So the third year, the final year, which is 2026 now, January 2026, in my account now I've got £2,730.06. But the process is repeated. But now it's this figure. So we do the same thing again. 4.5 divided by 100 is repetitive. This number changes every time. My interest for the third year is £122.85, which I'm then going to add to this £2,730.06. So at the end of 3 years in my account, I've got £2,852.91. That's how you work it out. Okay, that's how compound interest works. So you start with your original figure, you work the percentage out to get a new figure, and then you just repeat that using the new figure for the second year, using the new figure for the third year, and so on and so forth, for however many years that tells you. In this case it was 3 years. Okay? There is a quicker way of doing that. But that means you've got to remember a formula. Okay? And the formula is this. Put it up on the screen. That's the formula. X bracket 100 plus R divided by 100, close the bracket N. Okay? That's your formula. Doesn't change. It doesn't change. Alright, so there's your formula. It's the same form, I've just rewritten it slightly differently. So, X, that stands for your amount of investment. The R, that stands for the interest rate. And the N stands for the number of years or the term. Okay. So we had £2,500. That's a 5 by the way. It was 4.5% interest and we did it for 3 years. Okay. So that's the information we've got in the question. We're going to put it into this formula. X 2,500. 100 plus R 4.5 divided by 100. You could see I've put it in a bracket there. Well, it's in a bracket on the screen anyway. And the N is 3 years. That's just bid mass. That's just a bid mass question now. That's what we've got. So we apply our little bid mass rule, but what we've got to remember is that in this point here, between the 2,500 and this bracket, we have a times sign. So we start doing the bid mass, and the bid mass is the bracket first. 100 plus 4.5 divided by 100. So that's 104.5 divided by 100. 1.045. That's the answer to the bracket. 2,500 times. So all I've done is written that down, put the times sign in. What does that little indices 3 mean? It means that number times by itself 3 times, doesn't it? There it is. There's your formula. Just pop that in your calculator and you get the answer to the question. 2,500 times 1.045 times 1.045 times 1.045. That's the interest that's going on as a percentage. 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. A lot quicker, a lot easier, but you've got to remember that. That's the only problem. You've got to remember that other formula. Yeah? So that's how it works. That's compound interest in a nutshell. That's compound interest. Here's one on the screen. Jack has £3,200 to invest in an account that pays 1.5% compound interest. How much will his investment be worth after 3 years? Okay, so let's use that formula that I've got on the board there. Just change the numbers slightly. We've got 3,200, so that's going to change. The 100 stays the same. Divided by R, the R is going to change to 1.5. Divided by 100 still, and the term is still 3 years. So that now is your sum. That's your formula there that's written on the board. It's a little big maths question. Calculator, obviously. And let's see what Jack's investment is worth. It's not going to be a massive amount because it's only 1.5% interest, but it's going to be obviously a little bit more than that.
And the original value is 3,200.
3,200, that's what is originally invested. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's the X. That's your 1.5, and that's your 3. We all got an answer. Just finishing off the final calculations. So it's up to you, and it's like anything that we've done so far in maths. You choose the method that you feel most comfortable with. You don't have to use this. If you can't remember that formula, then use the old style method. Some people prefer that, some people prefer this because it's a fair bit quicker. But it's up to you. You choose the one that you feel most comfortable with and practice them both. So have we got an answer? Have we got 3, 3, 4, 6 and 17p? Yeah. It's fairly easy, it's fairly straightforward to work out. Fairly straightforward to work out. How do you remember it? You remember it because it's art. The amount, the rate and the time. The amount of money, the rate, the time. So you've got to think to yourself. Okay? Always got to think to yourself. So that's the quick way of remembering it. That's the quick way of working out. That's the slow way. That's the way I originally did. Work out 1 year's, work out the second year's, work out the third year's. Just imagine that it's you that's put the money into the account, and you're seeing how much you've got in January, and you see how much you've got in December, and so on and so forth. It's up to you which way you decide to do these. So, 3 to have a go at there. So you've got Sam to start with, then you've got Aisha, then you've got Tommy. So 3 to have a go at. I'll leave you to do them for a few minutes.